Fast-track yourself through the race with vehicle and asset finance from Absa. Today, tomorrow, together.
East London, South Africa's sixth largest city and the only river port in the country, is set on the broad Buffalo and the Nahoon rivers and is renowned for being the gateway to the Sunshine Coast of the beautiful, lush Eastern Cape. Fondly known as Buffalo City, East London is 990 kilometers from Johannesburg, and it's a bustling port which also boasts stunning beaches and a temperate climate. It's here that the 2007 African Heritage Anatole 500 found its home at the end of July for almost a week's worth of all-out racing. The event, round 5 of the Absa Off-Road Championship, doubled up as the FIA Cross Country World Cup second round and made SA off-road racing history. As documentation and scrutineering took place in East London, the nerves were just starting to tingle. Meanwhile, the local BMW lads were also kept on their toes as the X-Ray BMW X3 of Paulo Nobre and Felipe Palmeiro stopped off to have some last-minute adjustments made to try to conquer the Eastern Cape bush and the local and overseas competition. Quite a homecoming it was for the son of off-road supremo, the late Arthur Abraham, Scott, who forms part of the X-Ray team. This pairing took 37th in this year's Dakar Rally. The Russians in a Nissan Patrol brought out Mikhail Narishkin and Artem Nazledikov, and they too have years of tough off-road and rally experience overseas to their long list of credits. The locally built Nissan Navara has been racing well at the hands of Norway's Ivar Tollefsen and his British navigator Quinn Evans, and they were definitely the four men going into the heritage with their local knowledge a trump card in the build-up. Last year's event, the first FIA outing to the southern tip of Africa in the Limpopo province's Polokwane, was held in icy weather and was a fine test for man and machine. But this time round, there would be something more in store for the intrepid racers, and they were ready indeed.
Oh yes, it's first time we are here. Last year we tried to come, but unfortunately the race in South Africa was in the same week as the big race in Brazil, Rally dos Sertões. So we could not come, and this year Rally dos Sertões will be one week after South Africa, so we are very happy so we could come for the first time here.
So you think the conditions are going to be pretty much the same as in Brazil?
I don't know. I heard a lot about this race. One guy from our team, Scott Abraham, the big nanny, he told us a lot about this race, but we should see, like first day, we should feel the special stage to realize how is the dangerous things, how is the condition of the special, to maybe for tomorrow can try to be more aggressive. First day to be aggressive, it's not a good and intelligent thing, because in the first day we never win the race. But in the first day, we can lose the race for good.
Wise words. For the Italians, things were serious, very serious.
With this car, the T2 is a serious vehicle, and we go fast, but not too much, not like at Proto, because this car is very, very prototype. This is a serious car. No, nothing is not possible modification, not possible nothing. We go to regular and try don't break the car.
Tollefsen knew the Beamer and its occupants well and understood that he had a tough job ahead of him.
Yes, I know the X3. It's a very good car. It's probably a car amongst the best in the world. The driver has also been driving an X3 or an X5 for more than 2 years, done 2 Dakars with it, doing the full World Championship, racing in Brazil with it, so he's very experienced in that car and experienced in racing, so it's going to be a hard job to beat him.
And as they rolled out of the city centre on their way to compete the first 92 Ks of leg 1 to decide the starting order for the next day's racing, the teams knew they'd have to marry hard racing and conservation of the car and body to get it to the other side. For the locals, having the off-road circus there was great, to say the least.
This event is going to mean so much for the people of the Eastern Cape. In terms of tourism, it means that the people of the Eastern Cape are about to see a spectacular event, and we really appreciate the fact that it's one of the hugest in the country. And it's also going to mean an economic boost for this area.
There was certainly a boost of speed and power for Nobre and Palmero in the X-Raid X3, who were flying along early on. Nobre was triumphant in the 05 South American Rally Championships, while his co is also no slouch. They proved it here in East London. Tollefson is a Norwegian mountaineer and adventurer who aims to conquer the Dakar Rally early next year in this car. Evans is along for the ride, and what a ride it's been so far. They're third in the National ABSA Championship standings. The Italy-based Garosci and Briani were battling to settle down in the dust and dry conditions in the Rally Art Mitsubishi Pajero 3.2 litre. Garosci has a long list of achievements on African soil and has raced in Paris, Dakar, Morocco, Tunisia and in Egypt, but this is the first time that he's ventured this far south, and he was loving it. The Russians, Mikhail Narishkin and co-driver Artem Nasledikov in a Nissan Patrol also needed to adapt to the dusty local conditions to be a big factor. They look to be a little short on speed early on though. The Muscovite Narishkin, however, was enjoying the car, a six-cylinder which put out 265 horsepower at 4,900 revs per minute with a 420-litre fuel tank. Quite a load. But then, just about halfway through, it became clear that they developed a problem and needed to stop and repair. A severely damaged prop shaft slowed them drastically, and there were no spares for them back at pits. Cobus van Tonda and Rian Guapa and the Unifreight Ford Ranger were the first South Africans through and clocked a time 3 seconds faster than Nobre and Palmero over the first leg. Brothers Henry and Maurice Matten are world record holders for consecutive off-road races finished in their flying Class D Ryobi Nissan hardbody. They are a crowd favourite and they know it. Bloemfontein-based Roacon entered the brothers David and Gary White, and they've had a fine season thus far. They were leading the special class out there, clocking just 1 second over the hour mark for the distance. Dalmasman Ramon Besaidnout and Stefan Locke in their NTT Dalmas Toyota Hilux were also on a mission and going well after a fine opening half on stage 1. But once the opening stanza had been completed, it was time to repair all the damage that was achieved in just about an hour's worth of racing. And there was a lot of that. Just imagine an off-road mechanic's life for a second. Get the car spick and span, ready for the off. Then you get it back an hour later, broken, bent, all messed up. And then you have to put it all back together again. For the next day, it's got to be done again. And the day after that. And the day after that. Yes, you guessed it. Got to do it all again. As for the weather, an unexpected cold front had hit the whole of southern Africa and temperatures had plummeted. In fact, it was close to 0 degrees. Some of the overseas competitors could have been forgiven for thinking they were back in Europe in the middle of winter. However, the racing was hot, and Tollefson and Evans won stage 1 by 93 seconds from the X-Raid team, while van Tonda and Guapa led the South African challengers home in turn 74 seconds ahead of the Zamatin brothers.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA.